Hey guys, so in the last video I had talked about, some sad, touchy subject about, the passing of my mom and how we need to cherish what time we have. And if you have the opportunity to talk and spend time with your mom, do so. Cherish those moments while you can. And, I want to make a less sad video as well for the honor of my mom and her memory and talk about things I remember about my mom, talk about who she was and just how cool she was altogether. So, my mom was pretty cool. She's pretty creative too. She would make so many different arts and crafts that, you know, she just loved to do it. She loved being productive like that. A lot of us, we like spend time on our phones or, you know, doing stuff that's like digital or, um, you know, just just silly little things, but aren't really productive. But my mom, she was productive like all the time. She made different jewelries. She used to burn wood, like art into wood with this little like burner pin that was like really hot, and it wouldn't catch the wood on fire, but it would just be hot enough to sear the wood and turn like the layer of it into coal and make like carvings into it. I don't know how to explain it. It was really cool. And then she would make balloon animals for a while. I mean, you could name an animal and she could make it. She learned how to through YouTube tutorials. I thought that was really cool. She loved YouTube. She didn't like other platforms, but she always liked to learn stuff from YouTube. Um, there was one time she even made me a fox for my birthday because it's my favorite animal, as you can obviously tell. But yeah, and she made wreaths. She made jewelry. There's another one I'm trying to think. She just did so much. She made like little charts for everybody in the family's birthday. It was like this little plaque, and then there were little circular wooden notches that would have our names and our birthday on them that would hang from it. And it was pretty cool. Like, I think my granny has one. And I want to learn how to make it too, because, you know, not everybody's good at remembering birthdays. Unfortunately, I will confess I'm one of them. But those things are just so cool. Even if you do remember them, I would love to have one. You know what I mean? Um, and like mom would encourage people to be productive. She would garden. She would just do whatever she could, and like it was awesome. It really was. She loved animals. I mean, I think there wasn't an animal she didn't love, except for maybe a cockroach. I don't know, but she loved living things. She loved dogs, especially. Like she had a soft spot for dogs, and she had a lot of dogs herself, and took good care of them and cherished them. And she saved so many animals' lives. She had one dog named Button, and he's still around. And I remember one of our relatives was like a dog breeder. He like breeds hunt dogs, and he saw Button as a failure to thrive, and usually, sometimes, unfortunately, don't like it. But and mom definitely didn't like it either. They put failure to thrives down for some reason, and my mom was like, no. And she took Button in and raised him, and he's a healthy, beautiful dog now. Um, and the cutest dog. He's loud, but he's adorable. And um, just any animal that would be a stray, because we lived in the countryside, a stray animal would come up. She would make sure one way or another, she found that dog's home or that cat's home. She did what she could. And if not, she couldn't really take it into her home because her home was too small. She already had enough animals. Um, but she'd still make sure they were fed until she could figure out what to do. And that was really cool. Um, there was other stuff she did too that was really cool. She used to make these blessing bags, and I really thought this was awesome. And like anytime, because she hated seeing anybody who was like on the streets and suffering, so she would make something called a blessing bag, and it would have socks, hand sanitizer, a little notebook they could write in, um, like soap, I think, floss, just all kinds of like little things that they could use. And then she would like put a little miniature Bible in there, if I'm not mistaken, or a little miniature scripture thing, and she would just give them to these people on the streets. And it was so cool. It's so sweet. And like she was just like that. Like a lot of people are like, oh, don't give them anything. She didn't care. She was like, I'm pretty sure a little kindness does a lot more for them than anything. And so she did it. And another thing I remember about her that I admire so much was she was always a strong woman of faith for as long as I can remember. Even like during the time, she didn't get to raise me in my teens and everything like that. I think even then she still believed in God. She wasn't as strong in it, but she still did. This woman never lost her faith, I don't believe, despite everything she had been through. And that's a very honorable thing, really, to not let anything disrupt your faith. And this isn't me trying to preach right now or anything. I'm just, again, talking about my mom, just how she was, even in her last months and weeks and days. She was so strong in her faith. And when I say she was in so much pain, she couldn't drink water, she couldn't eat, she could barely breathe, she could barely walk. She would still talk about her faith and say she was ready to go to heaven in the last days. She would even ask why she isn't in Beulah land yet. Like, why isn't she there yet? And it's sad, but it's really just how she felt. And the fact nothing could shake her faith is it's such a respectful trait to have. And I know a lot of people are gonna hear this and be like, ugh, but that's fine. If it wasn't for her, I wouldn't even, have the faith I have. And every morning when I lived with my granny, which she lived right next to her, um, I would look out the window and see my mom if I woke up early enough, if she wasn't working, every morning without fail. Even when I didn't see her, I knew she'd be sitting on her porch reading her Bible every single morning at sunrise. I think it's like soon as the sun was coming up, she was up and ready to devote a little time to God every day. And I do that now, and it not only has kept my faith strong, but it's made me feel like she's with me. Okay, try not to cry, sorry. And it's really good, healthy thing to do every day, really. Helps me a lot, and I see why she did it, and I just, I also just cherish all the times just sitting on that porch with her, watching her do her arts and crafts or her work, or just sitting in silence and just chilling out with her. You know, she had the most beautiful garden. She loved flowers and everything. You know, it was all God's creation to her. She loved all of it. And I would just give anything to have that again. You know, I pass her porch now when I go to see my granny, and it's just kind of not the same. Even if it looked the same, it would never be the same because she's not sitting there anymore. It takes a lot for me to get the courage to go see the rest of my family because they all live so close together. Because she's not on that porch, she's not in that yard, and you know, I miss her. And I wish I took more of her advice before she had passed away. I wish that, you know, I had listened on so many occasions, but we don't always listen to our moms, and it's almost natural at this point. Um, but I'd honestly give anything. And I hope this video also reaches some people. I hope that y'all have a good Mother's Day with your mothers if you can. Um, if you've lost your mom like me, take some time and just reflect on, the happy memories, even the bittersweet ones if you can. And just, do something that would make her happy. Being productive that would make her happy, and just, you know, I said it in the last video too. If you don't got much money, you can't buy your mom something this Mother's Day. Just don't worry about it. Don't overthink it. Just put your controller, your phone down, whatever it is you're doing. Take a second. Just let her know you love her. Call her or you know do a little scribble on a notepad like you did when you were a kid, probably. Whatever you did. If you made anything arts and crafts wise, make that for her. She'd love it, no doubt. And for those who don't have the best relationship with your mom, simply just tell her you love her. And I know probably some of you are like, nah, I'm not going to force you to do it, but it's just a suggestion, Just if you can, do it. And I hope you all have an amazing, blessed day and take care. And I'll see you next time.